OGDuffy, find myself in Chatham today on a game hunt. Not been here in good 3 or 4 months. There's a CEX, there's a Cash Convertors and charity shops and more. And there's a pub, of course, albeit a Wetherspoons. So, get amongst it, see what games we can find. First stop, people, CEX. Usually good for PS3, etc. We shall see.
Approaching the CEX store, which is located in the Pentagon Indoor Shopping Centre. This caught my eye here, this little handheld computer thing. Now, obviously, these are big at the moment, especially with the Steam Deck. I've got no experience of any, but I know a lot of guys are emulating a lot of stuff on the Steam Deck. So if you know anything about it, do drop in the comments. Is it worth looking into, yay or nay? Nothing too outstanding in the window here. You had Discworld there, but quite a few loose carts on the SNES in particular. Ipsaru or Spiru there, I've no idea what that is. That's a new one on me. It looked a bit Tintin-esque, didn't it? You know, like a female Tintin. Is it a French character? It's just me guessing that. Okay, it's just yeah, because it just looked a bit like a Hershey. Anyway, N64 there. And some nice loose NES carts. As I say once, I say it twice, the NES is the one loose cart system I buy for. Now stop to have a look at this. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out on the NES. I mean, as boxing games go, this one's got a very, very good name indeed. I think my first ever sort of boxing game on the computer systems was Frank Bruno's Boxing. Oh yes, I remember that. And it wasn't dissimilar to that actually, but obviously the graphics were very different completely. But in terms of the characters are a bit wacky and out there, you know. But no, that's a very respected game overall, that one. So do you remember Mike Tyson's Punch-Out? If so, drop in the comments. I don't own it, but I'd like a copy, especially boxed. So Russian Attack there, great game, love that conversion on the NES. But the way they've displayed their PS1 titles, they've laid them out flat. It's great, you can see the prices, so that's quite a positive move, because they usually sort of stack them side by side, you can't ever see the prices. Stopped a quick look here, Tetris, I mentioned that in the recent Q&A quite a bit, because obviously everyone loves a bit of Tetris. I've got it boxed, and it's one of them games you don't see too often actually fully boxed in decent condition anyway. And this caught my eye here, right? Okay, let's take a look. This here is Robotron. It was unboxed on the N64. It's £25. I don't go in for collecting on the N64, but Robotron was such an amazing arcade game, and I just remember back in the day the sound from that thing, it just blasted noise, mate. It was as loud as, but I've never played any of these sort of modern takes on it. So is that any good, people? It looks very similar to the arcade obviously, but with improved graphics. As always, drop in the comments, and if you spot things in this video that I'm not seeing or gone past on the shelf, do let me know. You missed that one, OG. More laid down PS1 games there, and for those that keep asking, here you go, the PSP section. Quite a few nice, decent PSP games in here actually. I was quite surprised. So a nice little range. Lemmings there, I spotted that. I loved Lemmings on the Amiga. It was a brilliant little game. The tunes and music from that game still stick with me to this day. Such a good game. And then, of course, the PS3. I always go and look at the PS3 games. You know, I keep banging on about it. I don't know how DVD's doing there. Just snuck in. But anyway, back to the point in hand, which of course is the PS3. Quiz music there, right? The quiz music. 12 quid. That's gone up in recent times. I don't recall it being that much money. I think I might have paid about 6 quid for it. So, yeah. It's gone up quite a bit in recent times, I believe. Or am I wrong? I'm not sure. But definitely, yeah, it's definitely a strange old price on that one, £12. Quite a few of the essentials in here, the red labels. This caught my eye though, right? Quake. We all remember Quake, don't we? I mean, it sort of took over really from Doom. And I can remember back in the day, especially on PC gaming, for internet and LAN gaming and all that sort of stuff, it was huge. Quake was a really, really big franchise indeed. Now, I didn't pick this one up because there was no manual in it, which was a real shame. There's actually quite a few manuals missing from quite a few of the games here today. But I don't know if it's online only, so if you know, as always guys, let me know in the comments please. Has that got a sort of just a playthrough? If so, I might well pick it up in the future. And after putting the game back, I continue along the shelves. A few Final Fantasy there. I think I've got all of them. I could be wrong. But hey, that's what them Game Eye app's for, and CLZ, or Z if you're American. A God of War Ascension there. I've since looked. I do not own that one actually. That was £12. I don't think it had a manual. As I said previously, quite a few of the manuals were missing in here, and I do know they do not keep the manuals behind the counter. They are in the cases if the manuals are with the game. So I had a good look. But unfortunately, like I say, the manual's missing, and I do like to get games with the manual. I own this already because I'm going for the full HD classic set there, but I always look just to double check up on the prices. Keeps me in the loop, so to speak, so I know which direction the games I own already are sort of going. This caught my eye, right? Medieval Moves. Now, I would have picked this up, but you need the Move controllers to use for it and everything else like that. And to be honest, I do have a set. I've never set it out because I think at the end of the day, that's what the Nintendo Wii's for. I think the Nintendo Wii does that sort of gameplay so well that I'm not going to bother with other systems. And it's not that I've got an Oculus VR headset as well. Well, Mrs. OG uses it more than me, but if I want to do things like this, that's really for that. Wii and the Oculus, that's as far as I'll go. And that said, some of the virtual reality arrow games, shooting games, are very good indeed. Metal Gear Solid there, Ground Zeroes. I've had that for quite a while. I think it was, I could be wrong, but I'm sure it was more like a demo, like a small demo, just to sort of introduce a bit of Metal Gear to the system. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, carrying on here, a reprinted cover there for 30 quid. What is it with CEX and the reprinted covers? They charge exactly the same as if it didn't. You know what I mean? Anyway, I looked at this here, Sniper 2, Ghost Warrior. Not an expensive title by any stretch of the imagination, but was worth a look. I say, so many games, not enough time, people. But yeah, I just love game hunting like this. And Chatham for me is always pretty good. Usually find some good solid titles here. Wii U now, having a look along there. Now unfortunately, nothing I haven't got. So the Wii U collection, I think I'm going to have to finish them off probably online, you know. But there you go, BMX XXX. This is the GameCube edition of this. Now I've got BMX XXX on, I think it's the PS2 version. I'm sure it's the PS2 version. I got it in charity shop for £2. But I was quite surprised at the price of this here. As you can see now, £22. So all in all, it's quite a collectible game now, isn't it? So yeah, I'm glad I picked that up in a charity shop when I did. So from BMX XXX, we fastly move on. Oh yes, a few other GameCube games here. But I don't know with the GameCube, it's I don't look at it as often as I used to. Just Dance games there on the Wii. I have to confess I own all of them on the Wii U because, as you know, I'm going for that full set, the full power set. So I had to get them, unfortunately. Have I played them? No. But then this caught my eye here. Final Fantasy, the Crystal Bearers. I don't know if I've looked at this before. I don't think I have. I think the last one I looked at like this was Chocobo Racing or something. It was, you know, them funny little fluffy creature things. But anyway, yes, this caught my eye. I know absolutely nothing about it, apart from it's on the Nintendo Wii. It's £10, and it's Final Fantasy related. Is that like an RPG or what? I don't know, guys. Drop in the comments. Do you know? Is it a good game? Is it worth getting? As I always say, there's some quirky little titles available on the Wii system by Nintendo, so always worth a look, and usually very well priced. And as I always say, it's that unique controller that makes that system still so playable, especially those sort of railgun shooters, etc. This caught my eye here, look, Tamagotchi. I remember little OG having one of those back in the day, and the Wii Sports there, cardboard 8 edition, £8. I can remember a few years ago that went through the roof, didn't it? That was collecting silly money. Now this caught my eye here, right? The Great Escape. Now my memory of that game was on the ZX Spectrum. It was such a great, iconic game, and that's the graphics I'm showing here. This was, it was just so good. I mean, it was so enjoyable. But they're sort of like that isometric sort of, graphics you see in there. The Spectrum did it so well, especially on games like this. Anyway, yeah, just caught my eye, and I thought I'd share that little ditty with you. And making my great escape from the PS2 section there, I'm carrying along the shelves. Oh yes, indeed. Harry Potter there, bit of Hitman, Quidditch, Mortal Kombat. Oh, the names just go on and on. But yeah, look at this, right? I'll tell you what, this caught my eye. I thought, what's that? And I realise it's just a kiddie's title, but look, Little Britain. Now that's recently been banned and everything else on Netflix and stuff for being dodgy. But the video game lives on, guys. So that didn't get a ban, did it? Maybe a future collectible. What do you think? Drop in the comments, or just a woke title. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Oh, yes, indeed. Outrun 2006, coast to coast. I tell you what, every time I say Outrun, I can still, to the life of me, hear them tunes. Anyway, this here, look. Reservoir Dogs. This, of course, is a Tarantino classic. But do you know what? I thought about it, and that's the reason I stopped to look at it. I never was aware Reservoir Dogs was a PS2 title. I've never played it back in the day or anything. But I'm a big Tarantino movie fan, so let's think about it. Have any of his films ever been made into video games? I mean, Pulp Fiction, the video game. I can't see how that'd pan out, but hey, could be worth it. Jackie Brown, the video game. That'd be a first-person shooter, wouldn't it? Because obviously all the guns in it, the gun running and that. But yeah, anyway, food for thought there. What's your favourite Tarantino movie? They're all pretty cool, actually. My favourite? Oh, I don't know. It depends what day of the week it is. I think they're all great. What's yours? Drop in the comments. Now, this pretty much concludes the CEX part of this Chatham game hunt, but fear not. There's the shop game, there's Cash Converters, and there's some charity shop footage coming up too. Will my luck be in there? But first off, let's go hit them charity shops in the high street. The first of those charity shops being Sue Ryder. Oh yes, bless her. In we go. Past the clothing. Now I didn't look at the clothing, but a lot of people look for football shirts and sports tops and things because they reckon they resell very well on eBay indeed. A master of pieces, one particular fella I follow, he does quite well on some of his football shirts. Now I always look in the kids sections in the charity shops, especially on the DVD shelf, because quite often I've found a video game has snuck its way onto that shelf, a staff member not knowing what it is, just thought it was a kids thing and slung it on there, so it's always worth a look. That particular shelf you just saw there, last time I was in Chatham, I actually got my World of Warcraft PC CD-ROM game there, so always worth a look. It's actually worth a few quid now, that one, so I was very pleased with that. A few PS4 games in here, but unfortunately quite overpriced for what they were. And then into game. Oh yes, this is the window of game. Now you're going to notice something as we're looking throughout game here. I'm not a fan of game. Those that watch the channel probably know that because of my very poor customer experience with them on an online purchase. Shocking company, truly are a shocking company. But actually you'll probably notice two things. The first being the lack of video games. And the second thing being the sale stickers. There's sale stickers on literally every item in this store. What is that telling us, people? I think unfortunately game has had its day. I can't see it lasting much longer, unfortunately, which would be a shame because it's the last sort of high street shop that is, was, should I say. I can't call it a video game store really, can you? Because I mean it sells everything. It sells Lego, action figures, Funko Pops, t-shirts, huge board game selection. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy board games though, so that's pretty cool. But the video games in most of the game shops now, to be honest, are very, very minimal. Probably about 20% stock. The rest is just a bit of everything, mate, and I think they lost their direction a long time ago. Anyway, but there's some bargains to be had for sure. So if you are passing the game, I never promote it because I'll say their customer service is absolutely shocking, and you really do feel the urge. I advise you not to buy it, especially online. But yeah, I mean, there's some bargains to be had in there. Did I spend any of my money? No, I didn't. I went in and had a good look around though. But like I say, everything is on sale, so I can't see it lasting. I think it's yeah. I mean, look, 50% off all the pre-owned games here. I mean, CEX is doing a great job, especially today. I'll be honest, CEX was absolutely heaving. The queue alone must have been a good hour just to purchase stuff or trade it in and that. Honestly, it was the longest queue I've ever seen in a CEX. But it's caught my eye here. Look, Dark with a Q, the Ultimate Edition. I don't go in for Switch games. I've got a few. Of course I haven't. I've got a Switch, but I don't collect for it or anything like a lot of people do. But hey, it looks interesting, but this caught my eye here. Look, Star Wars Outlaws. I know nothing about this at all, but I looked intrigued because let's be honest, it's only sort of mid-June, and that's not coming out till August. So yeah, it's building a bit of hype. Am I in for a real treat with this? I'm hoping so. As you know, I'm a big Star Wars fan, but I'm guessing, looking at that, it's only with PS5 and Series X. I've got a Series S, but I don't think that's going to be man enough looking at that. Anyway, that was game. So, yeah, moving on.
Just come out of CEX, guys. It was the busiest one I've ever seen. Honestly, it was nuts. So I've just done a couple of charity shops, as you saw there. Nothing in them. So I've stopped for a quick snack. A Burger King, BK. Have it your way. I don't recommend the Chatham Burger King, guys. It's a bit horrendous in here, to say the least. But I'm sure the burger will be very nice anyway. Cash Converters next, or Cash Converters, should I say.
Leaving behind that Burger King, the burger was quite nice, but yeah, not the greatest branch I've ever been in. But anyway, onwards and upwards. So straight over to the window. Now this is quite a telltale straight away. There's usually something decent retro in the window, but there was the PlayStation Mini and an N64 controller, but not much else, to be fair. And this was the whole lot of games that was in this singular branch. We're going to take a look along the shelf there. A couple of Wii U games, but unfortunately, yes, you know it, I had them all. Of course I did. A few Wii games, but I'm going to do a bit of a price comparison in here for you on a couple of games. So for example, is the first one, Luigi's Mansion, $29.99, and as you can see there, CEX are selling it for £30, so not a bargain to be had on that one, I'm afraid. Carrying on along, got some plenty of PS5 games and that in here, but I imagine obviously people are trading them in. They need the cash, so you're going to see the newer titles in here. And having a Cash Converters on any high street, again, it just gives you another option for video game collecting. So if you've got one in your town or where you're visiting, always do pop in, because you do get the odd bargain actually. Always worth a look.
Went back to CEX, picked up some games. I'm all done. Do you know what time it is? First of the day, people. Beer o'clock. Game hunt finished. Went back to CEX, picked some games up because it told you it was very, very busy in there. Man, busy. Busiest one I've ever seen. Oh, yes, indeed. But anyway, all done now. So all good. Beer o'clock. Then back to OGDuffy Towers. Show you what pickups I had, people. Oh, yes. From Chatham there on that game hunt, and I have to say, Chatham never fails for me. Don't get me wrong, you know, I go there, we've got CEX, we've got the Cash Converters, we've got the charity shops in between as well. Plus, as you see, I always grab a pint wherever I'm doing a game hunt, and there was a Burger King thrown in for good measure. But all that aside, did I get some pickups? Yes, I did. A total of 5 pickups spanning sort of several genres. We're talking PS3, we're talking NES, we are talking Sega Mega Drive, oh yes, and maybe even a Sony PS1 thrown in for good measure. But before we get to my pickups of the day, grab a beer. Remember, it is always important to stay hydrated, especially when I'm talking plenty to you good people. As a slightly different beer today. I might have had this before. You may have seen it, you may have not, but I visited that local European store of mine and I found this. It's a Romanian lager. It's 5%. And again, as always, excuse my pronunciation. I'm awful at these things, but I tell you what, I do love these Eastern European beers. They're pretty good, guys, honestly. They're decent strengths and they taste good as well. Right, ready? Here we go. Timisoariana. Actually, it was quite straightforward. Timisoariana. Timisoariana. So there you go, that's the pronunciation. So apologies if I got that wrong, which I know I did. So let's grab a beer. Let's grab a glass even. We've already grabbed the beer. And let's give this a pour up. Oof, oh yes. Pour it up, as always. And then we will go to those all-important pickups, people. Now, I am particularly pleased with the pickups I've had. As I say, we're ranging all genres here today. Really, we're going across the generations. Oh, yes, indeed. A nice clear lager there. And at 5%, it's, to me, that's about perfect strength 5% beer. Okay. It's cold, it's wet, it's lager, it's 5%. Get to my pickup. The first two pickups we've had from CEX there in Chatham were PS3 titles. Now, I keep banging on to you guys about the PS3, honestly, and it hasn't changed. I still think it's a wonderful looking system. I still think the games are as cheap as chips. And there's just some amazing titles out there that are really playable. And I think the thing is, what I like about it as well is, when you're scouring the shelves, it's not your usual fodder. It's not FIFA this, you know, COD that and everything else, not your usual titles. You see a lot of individual titles that aren't just sports games that are cheap. So what have I got? I got this here, and this is Sniper Ghost Warrior. Now, as you can see, I paid a total of £2.50 for that. Right, what do I know about it? Nothing. I'm coming to it completely blind. But why did I buy this? I think my love of sort of sniper type games comes from my love of Silent Scope. Who remembers Silent Scope on the arcades from back in the day? Oh, what a game, a truly unique game. Not only did you have the sort of big screen in front of you, but the telescope that you look through had its own separate screen that would zoom in on the enemy and stuff. And ever since that, I was sold on sniper type games. So I saw this, £2.50, Sniper, Ghost Warrior, and do you know what I said to myself? Oh gee, it'd be rude not to. And the second PS3 title we are adding to the collection is one I've seen on many, many visits to CEX. And every time I've sort of looked at it and I thought, oh, I've got that, I've got that, I've got that. But now, of course, because I've now started cataloguing my games through them various game apps, I can now check. And I'm glad I did. And it is this, The Godfather 2. As you can see, that cost me a total of £10. Act like a mobster, think like a don. I'll be honest, right? Like I say, I assumed I had this. Now, Mafia games and all them sort of games that have been released on this system up to now have been really, really good fun. They're a bit GTA-ish with missions in the middle and all that. Of course, not as good as GTA. I mean, GTA is truly unique. But these are not far from them, mate. You know, the storyline and everything that goes along with it are really, really good games. They make for a great experience overall. So I saw that there and I thought, The Godfather 2, £10, I'm having it. Again, with all of these games I bought today, all of them come... Oh, that's weird. I'll show you in a minute. All of them come with manuals. But this one, is the manual's sort of covered in plastic. What's that all about? Oh, no. They put the disc sleeve in, so it's not covered in plastic at all. But anyway, it's nice condition. I did also miss out on one PS3 game because they could not find the disc. It's happened to me twice now in CEX.
Have you had a similar experience? Drop in the comments if you had, where you've gone up, paid for the game, and they can't find the disc, so you've had to leave it. Anyway, Godfather 2, a welcome addition, I hope. This next game is the oldest game that I picked up on the day. Oh yes. I have a lot of nostalgia for this game franchise, but I've never played it on the NES before. So this is a new one for me as much as it is you. And do you know what? At the end of this video, I might well give one of these older games a play, because it'd be rude not to, guys. But anyway, it is this Spy vs. Spy on the NES. Now, those of a certain age will remember Spy vs. Spy. Oh, yes. It was on the Commodore 64 that I have my best memories of this. I think there were several versions of it. There's one where you're on a desert island, I remember that one. And there's one where you're sort of going room from room. So the idea, or the idea behind the game is, you're a spy and you're against a mate or whatever. I never played this on two-player versions. And you have to set traps, and it was such good fun back in the day. And I could be wrong, but I could be right. Did the original Spy vs. Spy sort of comic book cartoons come from Mad Comics? I'm pretty sure it did, you know. But anyway, I'm looking forward to giving that one a spin, because like I say, my memories from it are from the Commodore 64, and it's going to be one of those. It's either going to live up to the hype, or my memories, should I say, or my memories are going to slowly die. Anyway, Spy vs. Spy on the Commodore 64 was absolutely amazing. I think it was Beyond Software bought it out then. And the NES version, we'll have to take a look. And keeping it old school, but not as old as the NES. Oh, no. We're going to PS1, the PlayStation 1. And again, a game I already know, but I don't own. And it is this Tenchu Stealth Assassins. Now, I got this. It's got a manual with it. It's obviously got the disc. I sure wouldn't buy it. Now, I remember this when it first got released on the PlayStation. And I think a mate had it or something. I played it. And I remember really enjoying it. And do you know what? To this day, I never ever know what happened to the game. I must have borrowed it, because I never saw it again. So anyway, got the manual there, and it's a great little game. It's very much like it was the you know, you had to sort of creep around and do things discreetly. You couldn't just dive in and, you know, launch yourself into the middle of an attack and all that. So it was very stealth like. It was a good stealth game, early stealth game actually, really. I was struggling to get that back in there. I'll do that later. But Tenchu Stealth Assassins, I have great memories of that. That was a total of £15, that one. So I'm hoping again that's one of them that live up to the memories that I have from that great game on the PS1. One more game to go, guys and girls. But what is it? What system is it for? It's for the Sega Mega Drive. Oh yes, what a system that was, people. Anyway, got to keep hydrated. Let's go and find out what it is. And my final pickup, which was a Mega Drive game. Bit of fun for you now. And I just want you in the comments to do a yes or a no, or I got it, yeah, I knew, or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's only for fun, so don't worry if you got it wrong. Don't worry. What game is it? The clues are behind me. It is a Capcom game. It's the, well, unofficial sort of follow-up to Commando. And it is that there. Oh, yes. Mercs. £20. I got this with the manual and everything else. And it's actually quite good condition, as you can see there. So, overall, I was quite pleased with how that one turned out. So, why did I buy this if I got it on the arcade machines and everything else? Because surely it can't be as good as the arcade version. And you're right, no, it can't be as good as the arcade version. You're right. But the difference is with this one, when they released it, they did a different version of it on the game as well. So you not only you get the arcade version of there, you get like an extra edition. You get one where you can stop, build up points, spend your points, get power-ups and all that sort of stuff. So I've been looking for this for a while, but every time I've seen it, it's had no manual.
So for 20 notes with a manual, I thought, you know what, I'm having that. So all in all, today's games hunt has been pretty productive indeed. So there we have it. That concludes the little game hunt there in Chatham. I always enjoy visiting Chatham, as I always say. I always find stuff. I think it's probably one of my favourite CEXs that I visit locally anyway. There's always something there. So it's always a good visit. But the question now is this, people. Oh, yes. Shall we play a game? Shall we test one of them games we purchased? I think it'd be rude not to, don't you? So let's go for... I'll tell you what. Let's give Mercs a run out. Oh, yes. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. So aside from the arcade version, let's see how this Mega Drive extra version pans out. Mercs on the Mega Drive, £20 in total. Let's give it a play. Let's give it a spin out. Obviously, I'm recording with one hand, so thus the the clumsiness of it all. Now, let's get that in there. Let's get that in the correct slot, Genesis slot. That'll help. Wiggle, and bish bosh bang. There we go. Mercs, rock and roll. So this is Mercs on the Mega Drive. We're going to hit start now. Press the start button. Okay, so you've got arcade mode, which is obviously the arcade original. Then we've got original mode and options. I'm going to have a quick look at the options to see what's going on in there. The arcade. Let's have a look at the original. Normal, hard, shot, mega crash and shot. So only 2 buttons to worry about. Okay, we've got this. So instead of the arcade mode, because I know that, let's go for the original mode. Oh yes. Now, this is completely different levels to the arcade. Instead of lives, I think you have a life bar and things like that. So that's why I bought this. I thought it's a very different game indeed. And I think you can get power-ups and that. You buy them, you know. Right, that's my special button. Obviously, a bit of a waste of a special attack, but hey-ho. Oh! So as you can see there, every time you get hit, it takes off some health, as opposed to losing a life. Yeah, you can destroy the scenery in this game. The medals, I think, are just extra score. Oh, nice hamburger there. Always welcome. I'm not sure what that M does. Always find a lot of shots. Them boots, I'm assuming, rightly or wrongly, are going to give me an extra bit of speed. As you can see already, I'm down to half my life, so I'm struggling a bit here. Use a special there. Blast my way through a fence. I'm out of specials. Oh, I tell you what, next shot I'm dead, mate. I've had me day here. Oh, it's tough, it's a tough game. That concludes this game hunt from Chatham. I'm very pleased with those pickups. A nice mixed range. PS3, PS1, NES and Mega Drive to conclude there. So you just can't go wrong, can you? A real mixed bag. Anyway, I've been OGDuffy. You've been awesome as always. And what pickups, if any, have you had of late? There's only one thing left to do in there. Oh yes, this beer is for you. Stay safe, and I'll see you all on the next one. But remember, drop in the comments, subscribe, like. Happy days. Do it all for me, please. Thank you. See you on the next one.